Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. And the end is nigh. I've been saying that for quite some, about 2 years actually. I've been saying that quite some time on this channel. But it's not the end that perhaps you're thinking of. It's really the end of talking about Jodie. We're getting there. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. But really, I don't know how many more videos we got. We've been going over the final special, the reviews of it, the reaction to it, which has been, generally speaking, awful, right? It's been a really terrible review and response from it. I think it's the best thing they've done. I think it wasn't very good, but I think it was the best thing they've done. Anyway, the reaction has been very, very, very poor, right? And yeah, we're looking at the Whittaker era in general. And it's a disaster. I'm writing a book about it. Sign up to my Substack, my email newsletter. It's in the video notes. There's a free one where you get just updated about what videos I'm putting out. Plus, I put out a bunch of other stuff on that as well, like comic strips and old Doctor Who magazine articles and things like that. Like fun stuff I put out on that. Also on the my paid one, you also get a bit of my book as I'm writing it, Eki Thump, the guide to the Jodie Whittaker era. But really, honestly, I think that's just going to be a prelude. I might write episode guides to all the modern Doctors, like maybe to all the Doctors' eras. But I'm starting with Jodie because I've spoken about that quite extensively over the last few years. But the end is nigh, right? It really is. The light is at the end of the tunnel. I don't know how many more of these videos we got because there's really not that much more to say. But still, there is still stuff to say. We're not quite there yet. So like, share, subscribe. As I said, sign up my Substack, my email newsletter. Like, share, comment. Let me know what you think. I try and reply to all the comments. I'm very, very bad at replying to the replies. Right? I will try. If a reply comes in as I'm like doing stuff, I'll reply. But they flag the when people comment on YouTube, so I know where to find them. It's easy, but they don't flag people replying. So I got to catch it at the time. But if you take the time to comment, I will endeavour to take the effort to reply. If your comments removed, by the way, nothing to do with me, right? That is purely on YouTube. I don't know. I really wish they didn't do that because I think everybody has the right to speak and say what they want. That's just my wacky way of looking at things, which is actually why I'm putting out a lot more content on Twitter now, right? That's really getting interesting. I think I'm going to sign up for a blue check mark, right? I think if they just announced that it's like $8 a month and then you can load longer videos, I think I'm going to start doing that, right? I think that might indeed be the way to go. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment, all those things are fantastic. I am very grateful. And I am genuinely very grateful for everybody doing that. If you haven't considered subscribing yet, that really, genuinely is fantastic, right? Absolutely fantastic. If you want to share this video, that works so much better than YouTube sharing it because they will not. And if you're on Rumble, hit the Rumble button and whatever platform you're watching this on, find the button that says the right thing. You know, I like this video, please do more, right? Find that button and caress it gently in a digital way. Anyway, as I said, like, share, subscribe. Let's talk about the power of the Doctor, which really, why it did glitter quite nicely, and there was quite a lot of glitter in it. I like Janet Fielding. Well, at least I liked her scene with Peter Davison. I thought that was very nice. I like the so Sophie Aldred was great in it. Really, I even like that little interaction between Graham and Ace, where what was it when she pulls out the baseball bat and says, "I'm Ace," and he's like, "I bet you are, darling." At least that's the pervy vibe I got off it, because I'm a kind of pervy guy. I look at pervy things, no matter. You can show me the least pervy thing and I'll find a pervy way of looking at it. That's just my superpower, baby. Don't don't be hating on. Hate the game, baby, not the player. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, so I had a lot of questions here, despite all these like nice glittery bits. I like the Rasputin scene, right? Which is why I think Sacha Dhawan was written as Rasputin. I haven't read this article. It's from What Culture. It's trying to work out what we don't know about this episode, which is a hell of a lot. So as I said, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let's go over to What Culture and see what they have to say. Doink. 10 huge questions after Power of the Doctor. You're not getting any answers. It's done. It's over. It's finished. It's completely finished, mate. There's no more Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who. I don't think it's going to be referenced at all. I don't even think we're seeing the Jodie TARDIS interior anymore because it's been struck, right? The set's not there anymore, which I'm really happy about. I mean, I guess when the Doctor regenerated, his clothes regenerated as well. Maybe the interior of the TARDIS regenerated. I just don't think David wanted to wear the Jodie outfit, right? I really think he was like, no, I am not doing that. And Russell like, oh, I'll write something in, just imagine. Ooh. Something like that. Anyway, 10 huge questions. Huge. It was the huge questions after The Power of the Doctor. All the major talking points after Jodie Whittaker Christian was final Doctor Who outing. Yeah, I find What Culture a good place to collate all this stuff. So let's have a look, see what they have to say. Could Christian actually pull it off? No, he came close, but he lacked a plot, right? No, a feature-length Doctor Who marking 100 years of the BBC and the first and only regeneration story under his watch, and the final Doctor Who job for his production team, the departing showrunner, certainly had his work cut out. Well, that's not the way he wanted to do it. I mean, he wanted to be leaving when they stream applaudits, right? They go, oh, you're so wonderful. And it was going to go 5 years, I think. But I think his contract was not renewed. His vision of Doctor Who was curtailed. A good year too late, I would say. I mean, you see, I think the BBC thought they were doing good cutting it off after 3 seasons, which is essentially what they did, right? Honestly, they should have cut it off after 2. Yeah, I can understand. After the first one, they were already in production for their second season before the first season really aired, right? They didn't know how bad it will be. And also, they didn't know how bad it will get, like the decline they saw in season 11. They thought, well, maybe they'll just peter out for season 12 and come back up again once we put some monsters in. Then at season 12, it was even worse, right? At that point, you have the user data to go, this has absolutely failed. We can't do this anymore. That's where they should have really cut it off. He should never have been hired in the first place, but can you really blame them? He said everything they wanted to hear, and Moffat and Russell T Davies all recommended him. Nobody knew it was going to work out so badly. So he certainly has his work cut out. Compared to the angst-ridden endings of many of Davies and Moffat Doctors, the 13th regeneration was filled with positivity, wonder, and delight. Well, that's because it was minus Jodie for most of it. And wonder and delight, yeah, you didn't really get wonder and delight when Jodie was on screen. I mean, other than her wondering what the hell's going on, right? Like, oh, give up, I don't know what to do. Before the Timeless Child narrative had... 1 second, the thing of it was brought back to the table. Jodie Whittaker's lighter take on the role before the Timeless Child narrative started hammering away at it. No, it didn't. No, I mean, again, she was shit beforehand. She was shit afterwards. I'm sorry. No. Right? No, not true, mate. Though less successful in neatly wrapping up the year itself, with the Flux and the Timeless Child plots conveniently ignored, with no safe return for any of Chibnall's new monsters. What new monsters? Tim Shaw is fine. We don't need a safe return. We're fine. What about those ones from Demons of the Punjab that really didn't do anything? What about Krasko, the space racist? Yeah, no, but there's a reason these things aren't coming back. It's because they were garbage, right? Because they were very, very, very poor. What happened to the originality of series 11? It induced insomnia. Sorry, not insomnia. What's the other? Narcolepsy. Right? It induced sleep to anybody watching it. It was boring. 10 episodes of utter dire twaddle. Right? Without a good villain or alien or monster to be seen. It was what do you want? The Pating? I'll bring the Pating back. And here's the thing. When they did the Pating, they thought they were going to be selling limitless ones of them. They thought, all the little girls are finally going to come and say, that glass ceiling is broken. Let's buy a Pating. They really thought that was going to happen. They really did. But it didn't. It didn't at all. Will nevertheless go down as one. The Paradox will nevertheless go down as one of the high points. Yeah, fine. I mean, again, you know, it's like you're at the high point of spending of your incarceration in a concentration camp. It's not that good, right? It's not that good. That said, it wasn't perfect. You noticed. Already you noticed. Leaving many unanswered questions in its wake. Well, that is Chris Shimron for you. Some of them will never be addressed. Bye, thank God. And others could very well be explored under new showrunner Rusty Davis. Not a hope in hell. Right, so let's see him try and untangle this fetid mess. So what is the power of the Doctor? The title of the episode, and nothing else. We saw no power, right? Saw no crazy, insane power. We just saw the Doctor being kind of ordinary, right? So there wasn't, after building the Doctor up to being the most important thing in the universe, right? Billions of years old and billions of lives lived, right? Can block the Matrix with a stunning and brave mind, right? After all of that, no, we just had a very low impact episode, really, in terms of stuff going on with that character. I mean, I opened up quite nicely with the train thing, which was very much, it was like Doctor Who karaoke, right? That was a rip off of the Matt Smith era, I would say, season 6, right? It was and a quite accomplished one. It only failed really when Jodie was on screen. It was just not very good, right? She what's anti-charisma? Because that's what she has. Repulsia? I don't know what you would call it. There's surprisingly little dialogue on the titular power of the Doctor, with the Master's own powers and the ones he harnesses, the subject of much discussion. I mean, honestly, again, this is why I think this was cut out. But wouldn't it have made more sense to say that the idea, the basic master plan was trying to get the Doctor to force regenerate into the Master using stolen technology, and you could have just added on a bit to that, saying the reason they want to do that so they could access the unlimited regenerations that the Doctor has, as revealed in the Timeless Child, but they didn't talk about it at all. That would have been, Master's like, I will have the power of the Doctor, right? But I think the BBC just said, forget this bullshit, right? And Chris was like, but you told me to do that. Yes, exactly. I don't care. You're taking the blame, and I don't care that it's not fair. That's the BBC for you. Was he on? It's a subject of much discussion. The Doctor even admires him for the sheer audacity of his scheme and comments on the superiority of superior power of his TARDIS over hers. Okay. I mean, honestly, they did with this TARDIS what they always do with the TARDIS. Take the Doctor's TARDIS and put red lighting on it. I mean, that's right. The same set. It's always the same set, right? That's why the Rani's TARDIS was so cool, right? We would have saw that again, I think, in Time and the Rani, but apparently it walked in storage, which is a real tragedy. I really like that Rani set. Yeah. At one point, she questions whether he really does have the power to call upon both the Cybermen and Daleks. Turns out he does, helping in no small part by a stolen technology from Gallifrey and the Cyberium he ingested. Again, all off camera. How they survive? Who knows? In contrast to the planet powering energy of the Krulrunks. So Krulrunks, that was at the beginning of the episode, the Cybermen were raiding a space train to get a cargo, which turned out to be a little black girl. And the little black girl then turned out to be really a big, giant, glowy hair ball thing that was of a superpower. That they again, this is crazy, but I've really studied this to work it out. Which they then were harnessing to power the Master's evil plan, the Master's Dalek plan, which is what he called it. I mean, the Daleks are really tacked on the whole thing with the volcanoes. So that was what what's it called again? The Krulrunks was, right? That was the little black girl at the beginning who you thought would be this Timeless Child or something, but no. Just a little black girl who's a giant ball of alien energy. The Doctor going to give out accidental, in contrast to the planet powering energy of the Krulrunks, the Doctor's going to give out accidental static shocks We are shown her inability to control her friends. Well, you shouldn't try and control your friends. With Dan choosing to leave early on, and Yaz refusing to stay back, while the Master, as Rasputin, casually uses old-school hypnosis to manipulate the Tsar. So, again, I don't know if they're going to talk about this article. One of the big questions I had is, was there ever a Rasputin? Or did the Master replace and impersonate Rasputin? Or was there never a Rasputin and it was something that the Master just invented so he can slip himself in there? And the entire reason, in my opinion, the entire bloody reason for the whole Rasputin plotline was to do the Boney M's dance, right, for rah rah Rasputin, which I really like. Great catchy tune, right? That's the only reason I think that he was Rasputin. The obvious misdirect that the Doctor's power is her ability to regenerate is heightened by the Master's plan, with those static charges easily mistaken as the start of the process. Until we learn otherwise. But I never thought that was the start of the process. But as always, the Master's obsession and the Doctor, as always, this is the Master's obsession and not the Doctor's. In the end, and refreshingly, without any dull exposition, so characteristic of this era, the power of the Doctor is rooted in this friendship circle. Excuse me. You are shoehorning into that. That's a nice interpretation, right? That saw nothing in the episode that tells me that interpretation is what was intended. Her extended fam, the lengths they go to, both together and independently, to defeat enemies and the risks they are prepared to take, and the costs that are often involved. Sometimes the Doctor must let them in, Yaz. And other times she must let them go, but the Doctor's own strength lies in a refusal to admit defeat, surviving on the edges of the abyss. Again, dude, you are grasping at straws on that one. You really are. Come on, come on. You're trying to make sense out of something senseless, you know. I'm always reminded of that great Paul McGann line. He said, I love humours. Always seeing patterns and things that aren't there. Why did the Master deface the paintings? I think to get them to look at, go back in time to Rasputin. I think that maybe. Okay, the paintings there were painting Doctor were very much a feature of Stephen Moffat's time at the helm. Well, yeah, I mean that's what Chris Chibnall does, right? That's what Chris Chibnall does. He rips off other people's ideas, normally badly, without understanding them. As I said, this whole episode played like Doctor Who karaoke to me, right? I mean, that's really what I found felt like it was like. In the last Landmark special, The Dare Doctor, it was a piece of Time Lord art that saved Gallifrey. Van Gogh's The Pandorica opens was the prophecy to things to come, and the Doctor himself painted 2 significant portraits of Clara Oswald in successive regenerations. Oh yeah, that's true. The Master, however, has shown little appreciation for the creative power, preferring instead to infiltrate seats of power like head of state. So it's unusual for him. It's usual to find him interested in some paintings. Well, we quickly learn that for him, art only exists to be defaced to make a statement to draw attention to himself. With the typically self-obsessed, like the day he literally turned everyone into his clones. Here he butchers various famous paintings, making him the subject. It also serves as foreshadowing for the false regeneration of the Doctor. The Doctor, like Mona Lisa, Christ at the Last Supper, and the Face of the Scream, will become the Master. And again, I think the person writing this is cleverer than Chibnall, and it is imprinting their outlook on it. But it's always a way, right? To make Chris Chibnall scripts work, you always got to add in reams and reams of fan fiction, right? Otherwise, it just doesn't make any bloody sense. Who was the child that the Doctor saw? So fine. But the thing is, they answer these things so quickly. I know the answer to this. It's happens so insanely quickly, you can't really follow it. Like, It took me 3 times watching the scene when Vinder shows up to work out why he's showing up. Like, why is Vinder there? What's going on? Apparently he's looking for this glowy ball of, like, hair ball thing. So, the glowy hair ball thing is what the little girl turned into. Who was the child the Doctor saw? The cargo that the Cybermen are so eager to steal from the space train, or the train, first appears to the Doctor in form of a young girl, although played by a different actor to those seen fleetingly in the Timeless China's Children. It's not a stretch to assume that we are at least meant to think that this is another face belonging to the Timeless Child. Well, that makes sense, right? That does make sense. That's what I assumed. Now, I think this is just a red herring. Right, I think Tristram just put this in to be like, aha! It's not the thing that you thought it was going to be. Red herring! His lack of understanding of story is just breathtaking, right? A red herring only works if the thing that's a red herring is organic to the story. Right, it was there beforehand, but if this was just put in to be a red herring, as this is, it doesn't work. It doesn't work as that. Okay, although played by a different actor, another forgotten regeneration potential, fresh clue to the Doctor's lost past. I think it was more to tease the viewer into saying, because this is a close you get a Timeless Child in this episode. The only that only becomes more plausible when the Doctor realizes the child is in fact a clever disguise of the Quarunks. I can't believe you actually worked out the name for this thing, the Quarunks. Which again, why is all his names awful, right? You know, the Rusty Davis. You can learn a lot from him. Whenever he does an alien name, he does it with some form of resonance, so it works. So you know, it has. It sparks some kind of emotional feeling in the listener, right? In the very, very, very bad, it was very, very bad, you know, draft script that he wrote called The Mind of Hojak for the Sixth Doctor. It was released by Big Finish. He had these bad guys in a kind of Cybermen called the Tungsten Warriors, right? And just by calling them Tungsten Warriors, you think of tungsten steel. It's got these emotional resonances in it. Chris Chibnall, you know, Quarunks means nothing to anyone, right? Other than you're trying to think of a funny word. It doesn't work at all, right? It does not work at all. Fine, the Quarunks, the fact that clever design of the Quarunks in self-defense, the entity projects onto itself the image of the person, creature, or thing that the viewer would most want to protect. And again, it's very, very telling that they choose a little black girl, right? And it really shows, I think, the somewhat racist prejudices of Chris Chibnall, that they want to, you know, this weird need to infantilize people based on their skin color. It's gross, mate. It's absolutely gross, but it's very, very Chris Chibnall. But is it supposed to make you think of the Timeless Child? Probably. I don't know. Would most want to protect, but the Timeless Child arc has been abandoned in this episode with Chibnall making sure that nothing is said that might open up that particular can of worms. After the future Doctor appears as a hologram, there's no attempt to mine her for information, and that, well, it's not really. They just like changed the skin, so she was like Joe Martin. There's no time to mine her for information. The Doctor remains content not knowing the answers, which is insane, right? In The Vanquishers, her search for truth led her to the realization that the present moment always matters more. Again, you're reading a lot more into this. Chris Chibnall's forgotten this by the time he wrote this. Her family history is unimportant compared to the new family she's now assembled. This is so much better than what was on screen, right? For at least now, the Fob Watch remains buried inside the TARDIS and forever, and forgotten forever. Yaz also sees the same girl as a sign that she isn't someone either of them know. Instead, she's a vision that taps into the parental instincts to keep any child safe from harm. And I don't know, it's very strange. The only real reference to Thasmin in this episode is this image of Yaz carrying the Doctor, like her scooping her up and carrying her like a little baby, and it's very, very again, very telling, much in the same way it's telling that Christian chose the thing that you must protect under all circumstances, being a little black girl, is that's the image they did to appease or to address Thasmin, right? Because it shows you what the people who like it view romantic love to be, which is not what romantic love is, right? Romantic love is it's supposed to be some kind of meeting of equals that intersect in a somewhat unison, right? The men and women, if you're straight, okay, this really makes no difference. But men and women are somewhat designed to intersect. I mean, on a physical level, on an emotional level, I would say on a spiritual level, men and women are like very much a yin to the yang, right? They're supposed to connect, but connect has equal parts of a whole. This is much more like an eroticizing, infantilizing a lover, right? It's very strange. It's very strange. It didn't work at all. Is there such a thing as a good Dalek, number 7? No, this is ripping off Rusty the Dalek from Capaldi's last episode, right? And most people when they saw it said, "Oh look, this must be Rusty the Dalek." No, it's just a rip-off of Rusty the Dalek. The Doctor's surprise at a Dalek asking for help is a little strange, especially as she repeats Matt Smith's "This is new" line from Asylum of the Daleks. God. I mean, if you're gonna rip something off, why rip it off word for word? Speaking of which, James Corden, who was in Doctor Who and has now become the hugest pussy in the entire universe. I mean, look, he played a giant cat in the piece of shit movie Cats, and he was less of a pussy there than he is now, right? He word for word, right? Word for word, ripped off a Ricky Gervais joke about Twitter to try and own Elon Musk, right? Which is very strange. If you're going to rip somebody off, don't rip off something famous that everybody knows. I just don't think. I honestly, who is he? Who is the audience for this in Chris Chibnall's mind? It's not Doctor Who fans. It's the normie, and the normie doesn't know Rusty the Dalek, so it doesn't make. He can rip off from things that people don't know from. Like he ripped off from everywhere. He ripped off from the Virgin New Adventures to bring back the old Doctors in some way or another. He ripped off from a lot of things that the normie won't know about, and the reason it didn't make sense is because he made it for the normie. And the normie never thinks Doctor Who makes sense, so they can't see a difference between this and anything else. It's weird, isn't it? They can't see the difference between like this and Pyramids of Mars, although they would say this is more washable, probably. So that's who we're dealing with. It's strange because it's not the first time that the series has toyed with the idea of a good Dalek. Khan Sect and Dalek Sect and Rusty all turn against their own, having seen the evilness inherent to their genetic modified kind. See the violence inherent in the system. What's that from? Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Help! I'm being repressed. It's amazing things that get like just embedded into your brain growing up in England. But such Daleks are incredibly rare to the extent that Rusty was regarded as a made-up myth. It's also fair to say that a good Dalek is a broken or malfunctioning Dalek, and as was explored in Into the Dalek. Okay, also Rusty. The Doctor knows it's far more like the Dalek is a trap, like those in The Power of the Dalek and Victory of the Daleks. Her decision, and like they were in The Power of the Dalek and Victory of the Daleks, her decision to take chances is not born of naivety. Yes, it is. Okay, always at the end of each one of these things. This isn't 10 questions. This is 10 rip or plot holes that doesn't make sense that this writer is desperately trying to fill in. Do we have the name of the writer on here? No. This writer is desperately trying to fill in and doing quite a good job, quite frankly. If only Chris Chibnall would hire you to co-write the script, it would have been a lot better. But he didn't. The script was shit, right? And that's why you're writing reams of fan fiction to try and make it not be shit. So the Doctor knows it's far more likely it's a trap, like those in Victory of the Daleks and Power of the Daleks. Not born from naivety. After all, she doesn't hold out hope that one reformed Dalek might save the lot of them. Instead, she is more than happy to gain intelligence that might wipe them out from existence again. Genocide. No problem to this Doctor, right? No problem at all. It turns out that the Dalek was indeed a rebel, but it had been allowed to be as such, and was used to lure the Doctor into the Master's trap. So maybe genuinely the Daleks, good Daleks, can exist. Or again, it doesn't really make sense. How did Ace and the Seventh Doctor part? Well, bit of a muddy question, that, isn't it? I mean, the story's been told many times over in many different ways. In the before the Virgin New Adventures, right? Before then, she ended up, where was it? In like 17th century Europe as a princess or something. It was in the epilogue to Curse of Fenric, the book of Curse of Fenric. In the New Adventures, I believe she got pissed off with the Doctor, left and joined the Dalek Wars as a Dalek killer, then came back a few books later as like, Robo Warrior Ace, and then left again. I can't remember why now, right? But they've always had some kind of frisson. In Big Finish, it's implied they left under bad terms. And so is it in the book she wrote, Childhood's End, with, I think that had the 13th Doctor in it, right? At Childhood's End, right? So they all, because the Doctor was very manipulative to Ace, and I think Ace basically worked it out, and she got pissed off with it. So they resolved that in one of the best scenes in the episode in Power of the Doctor, which pissed off the shill media. They were like, no, Ace is, the Seventh Doctor's bad, whatever. We don't understand the Seventh Doctor. The Master goads Ace by reminding her that the Doctor ditched her, but the last time she appeared alongside the Sylvester McCoy's Seventh Doctor, there was no hint that split might happen. Well, okay. In the last episode of the original run, ironically named Survival, the final which segs perfectly into Rose. In fact, you want a nice bridge between the two. Listen to Damaged Goods in the middle, right? Which thematically just bridges Survival and Rose perfectly. Damaged Goods was the book written by Russell Lee Davies. They made an audio adaptation of it. I listen to it every Christmas. It's a great little Christmas story. Cool Survivor, right? We see them walking off together. Come on, Ace, we got work to do. It's written on the back of a fag packet, wasn't there? A napkin for them to hastily recall when they thought this might be the last one. There's no reference to Ace's fate in the 96 TV movie, which begins with the older Seventh Doctor traveling alone. Various theories. Well, again, it's been in extended media. She got blown up in a comic strip in the Doctor Who magazine, but that's not canonical, apparently, or none of them are canonical. I don't know. I don't know. The New Adventures also are not canonical either, right? That's taking place in a pocket universe now, I believe. The TV movie are out there and spin off there, but I think they're fake enough that to not have any particular version canon. Another one is that the Doctor sends Ace to Gallifrey to become to inject some new life into the Time Lord Academy. Instead, the Master implies it was down to the Doctor's Machiavellian ways that this has a ring of truth that how frustrated Ace could get about the Doctor's secretive behavior. Okay. In a moving scene between Ace and the Doctor, a hologram later in the episode, later in the episode, her take is quite different from the Master's, suggesting it was all her fault, that they parted ways. She apologized for not being understanding for the burden he carried and for that's why they're all pissed off at it. Okay, a ongoing liberal progressive trope is apologizing to women, right? We apologize. We're sorry. We're sorry for the white male patriot. We're sorry. Oh, we're so sorry. You want to see what it's like? Go and watch Picard season 1. We're sorry for Brexit. We're sorry for Trump. We're sorry, right? That's a real ongoing trope. So the idea of a woman apologizing to a man, oh, heaven forfend, right? No, it wasn't. It was like the Ace was older now, and she realized that he wasn't just being a manipulative dick, right? Was actually like there was a point to it all, right? And she'll sorry basically she'll sorry for being a bolshy teenager, right? Which is what teenagers are normally like. Not understanding the burden he carried down for judging him. For his part, the doctor claims was only trying to teach her good habits. It's lovely to see a more nuanced approach to old companion-doctor relationship. It only takes a few added lines to show that the friendship may have shared similar dynamics to what we've become accustomed to in recent years. Okay, so again, this is just you adding in your fan fiction to try and make this turgid Eppo be a bit better. Why did the Master want to become the Doctor? It's a good masterly plan, and if you leaned into the time show, the infinite regenerations, it might have made sense, but you didn't. So I don't understand, right? I don't understand. The answer to this one might seem straightforward after all, as he says his aim is to trust the Doctor's reputation. Well, listen. Chris Chibnall's Doctor Who, once he kind of settled down and worked out what he was doing, season 11 was awful. Season 12 was even worse. Season 13 is him trying to put something together that was in some way watchable and workable. So season the Flux, that was basically his vision of Doctor Who, and the only to produce Doctor Who that he was able to do, because he's not able to do like normal good Doctor Who. So his approach was to then dumb it down a lot to the so it was like a cartoon aimed at 8-year-olds. It had the same kind of like moralistic logic as a episode of Transformers or He-Man, Master of the Universe. It's that sort of like so yeah, obviously the Master wants to steal the Doctor's body because that's bad and evil, and that's really the only rationale the nuanced Christian can be able to portray, because he's not very good at his job, basically. After all, he seems to he says his aim is to trash the Doctor's reputation, but to that end, his only option is to steal her body, or is it? He could have certainly killed or imprisoned the Doctor, stolen a TARDIS, or even kept his own one in the same form and masqueraded as her. Well, yes, that's the plan. Yes, you could do that as well, I guess. Quite a bit of an easier plan, really. If it's the Doctor's unlimited regeneration cycle is after, then it's odd that neither the Doctor nor he nor the Doctor mentioned it. It's because the BBC said fuck off to the timeless children. Don't touch it anymore. It's a piece of unwatchable shit. Right? They said, oh no, don't do any timeless children stuff in the centenary. And he's like, well, but I was going to finish everything up there. No, you finished, mate. You finished. But yeah, that would at least have made sense, right? I think that was his original, the original motivation. It would be true to form if that was indeed his motivation, but he'd surely be upfront about that. Yes, he would. He'd like to gloat a little bit. One thing that false regeneration would do is permanently remove the Doctor from existence. Something he happily teases her about, but his will to live is almost entirely shaped by their rivalry. Could he really go without his arch nemesis? I think so, yes. If he's happy to live in a world filled with nothing but clones of himself, then presumably he can. Yeah, he thinks he can. Well, that's quite a good answer. Another alternative is the Master is jealous of the Doctor's power, namely the relationship to be able to... Again, this is your fan fiction you are shoehorning into an unwatchable piece of shit episode. Right? That'd be nice, but that's not... They never said that. Never even came close to intimating it. Namely, the relationships they were formed with his friends. After all, he does seem obsessed with Yaz becoming his companion. Yeah, again, you're thinking too deeply, right? You got to think like a moron, right? Think like a moron, then you understand what Christian was saying. Oh, they like Rasputin as a good song. It'd be fun seeing him dance with the Daleks and the Cybermen. Yeah, that was his original thought. That scene and everything was written around that. Whatever the reason, the Master is not exactly comfortable with the choices when he says, Yaz should have shot him when she had the chance. It does sound like he has a death wish. Again, you're attributing logic and reason and quality to a story that clearly does not warrant it. How come Graham was at the volcano? The sudden appearance of Graham O'Brien at the volcano felt somewhat random, and it does indeed take the Doctor by surprise. She asked the very same question, Graham, how did you get here? Because they wanted Graham in the episode, and nothing mattered. Again, this is He-Man, and if you like He-Man, no, I'm not dissing you, right? Or Master of the Universe, the same thing. Or Real Ghostbusters. That's I quite like that too. It is dumber than Real Ghostbusters. I take that back. Real Ghostbusters had much more. Not Real Ghostbusters. Real Men in Black. It's about the same. Real Ghostbusters too, right? But this is very dumb, right? This is very, very dumb. So it doesn't really matter. Jesse was there, right? That's really the only thing that mattered. How did he end up with the Doctor's psychic paper? Did he wander off with it? I can't remember. The sudden appearance of Graham in a volcano felt somewhat random, and it doesn't take the Doctor by surprise. She asked the very same question, Graham, how did you get here? But he's hardly got time to answer. When we last saw him, he was bonding with grandson Ryan, who's now filming stuff for HBO Max. So, God, Tosin Cole cannot believe his luck, right? He thought, for the last few hundred years, anybody with my skin color was in the shit, right? It wasn't beneficial to anybody. All of a sudden, I'm in 2022. I can't get enough bloody work. So now he's on HBO Max. Good luck for you, Tosin Cole. Fine. So he's leaving grandson to learn to ride the bike they've been doing with Grace when she was still alive. And he had a weird, the Teletubbies had the sun, had a little baby face in it. Same with Grace was somehow in the sun. I don't understand. And with the Doctors to continue their ordinary lives. Months of having to work without her in Revolution of the Daleks. I still can't believe she got that name wrong, right? When she was on James Corden's show, my God. The Human Pussy show, right? I've got a bit exclusive. I can tell you the name of our episode. It's exclusive this. It's the Revolution of the Dalek. How did you get that wrong? Right? I mean, that just shows what insanely miscast you were. You couldn't get the fucking name of your episode right when you were announcing it. And it's like you're just a dumb Karen that said, it don't matter. Remember the Dalek. Doesn't make sense. Anyway, it's only a little children's TV show. But we broke the glass ceiling. You thought... I won't miss ripping the piss out of her. Where was it? So months having to work without in Revolution of the Dalek gave them a taste of protecting the planet while she was away, and with the Doctor's blessing in the form of psychic paper, that's exactly what he's been doing. Did he give her the psychic paper, or was this just shoehorned in? Right? Other work commitments meant that Tosin Cole was unable to return as Ryan for the Jodie Whittaker send-off. Yes, again, he's luxuriating in his very, very fashionable black skin. But Graham says he's in Patagonia, presumably investigating another volcano. In short, Graham is there doing his job. It's a plot contrivance since he was just happened to be at the right one when the volcanoes were about to go active across the globe and bump into Ace, right? He gets to meet Ace, and fans were already shipping them. Not hard, considering the wonderful natural chemistry in their scenes together. Yes, they did have great chemistry together, and again, Graham's lying. I still can't remember exactly what it is. So he goes, I'm Ace. I bet you are, darling. I bet you are. Honestly, I bet she is. Why did the Doctor's clothes regenerate? Because David Tennant doesn't want to put on that shitty outfit. This is some kind of hint about what's going on, about what this regeneration is, why it's David Tennant's face. It's intimated from what we've seen so far that Neil Patrick Harris is playing the Celestial Toy Maker, and it makes sense they bring him back. And so it seems like the Toy Maker has imprinted this regeneration for some nefarious purpose onto the regeneration. In my head canon, I am saying the only way the Toy Maker was able to do that, if that turns out this is what it is by creating a phantom incarnation, a phantom regeneration, which was the Jodie incarnation, is just with the intent of weakening the mental energies of the Doctor to be able to do this exact thing. That's my headcanon, and I'm sticking to it, mate. Before its broadcast, fans have speculated whether or not David Tennant or Ncuti Gatwa would fit into the 13th Doctor's outfit without ruining the moment by looking silly. As it happens, it could have worked. We saw Sacha Dhawan manage to pull it off just fine. The clothes didn't have to be changed in the process. I think this is a combination, again, of David Tennant saying, I'm not putting on that stupid bloody outfit. Will you leave me alone? And Russell coming up with a reason why he doesn't have to. The Doctor regenerating into a previous body and personality is unprecedented. That's very true. But this isn't the first time the Doctor's tire regenerated with him. Oh, will you shut up? There's 2 other times, and it was a mistake, right? The first or second, they didn't think about it, and the only other time I believe is 4 to 5 in where Tom's boots turned into Peter Davison's plimsolls, I believe, right? I think that's what happened. So stop with again. It's like trying to say the Morbius Doctors are canon now. No, they're not. Robert Holmes in a wig was not the bloody Doctor. For that we must go back to the first translation from Hartnell to Troughton, which could be just a nod to that, one of the many Easter eggs of the special. No, it's a plot point, right? It is a plot point because it's written by somebody who knows how to write. That's how we know it's not written by Chris Chibnall. The direction of the scene makes it clear that there's something more is going on here. Take a closer look at Tennant's expression. Also, the outfit is really kind of weird. Like, underneath his jacket, his coat doesn't have sleeves to it. It's just it's a waistcoat or a vest, as our American cousins do indeed say. It seems to be an Ersatz version of the 10th Doctor's outfit. But we must go back to transmission. The direction of the scene makes it clear something else. Going to take a closer look at Tennant's expression. Not only is the Doctor shocked by his appearance, he's also puzzled by the outfit. It's an early sign that even if he could reuse a previous body, the curator suggesting to the 11th Doctor and the Dead Doctor, something's just not right. The trailer of 6th anniversary starts with the Doctor saying he doesn't know who he is anymore. That's unusual for post-regeneration confusion, but to use that line so prominently in the short teaser is telling. I agree. It also ends with the previously announced Gatwa asking, "What the hell is going on here?" I'm trying to do my best shooty voice there. Why the 14th Doctor is another version of the 10th Incarnation is clearly a clear plot point for the 2023 specials, but essentially David Tennant didn't want to put on the outfit. Will Sacha Dhawan stay on as a master? Well, that's a good question. My guess is no. Right? My guess is no, but I don't know. He did very well in this final story, right? He really did quite well. I wouldn't be sad to see him come back again. He's got 2 box sets with Big Finish. If there's going to be a third, we know it's successful. I don't know if it's going to be, though, right? I really don't know. My guess is that Russell's going to want to just erase this era from reality as quickly as possible. Having said that, Sacha Dhawan is a real asset. You know, we just had James Gunn take over the DC universe, DC movie universe. And I imagine one of the first things they did is they looked at what's working, and what's working is a casting. Like Henry Cavill as Superman is really working. You've got to be absolutely insane to throw that away, which is what they were going to do with, they wanted to do a black Superman, which I guess they're good, but they want to keep hold of that. Why? Because it's working, right? You want to keep hold of what's working. So this is working, but will that save him? I don't know. Interesting question, though, right? Our current master, Sacha Dhawan, said he'll be up for returning for a face-off with the new Doctor, but how likely is that? Neither of us know, mate, right? Nobody knows. It's clear from the script that Chibnall thinks that Rusty Davies will probably want to recast the Master, leaving him to die. The Doctor tells Urfo that his body is failing after he put it through so much. The setup is there for the Master to regenerate off-screen in his TARDIS. No explanation will be necessary, and Davis could just have a fresh start a fresh start with a new actor. Yeah, listen, I think that's seems quite reasonable. But having said that, Sacha Dhawan is still an asset. I think with direction and writing, he could probably be used well. Right, for his part, Trudy Gatwa has teased the possibility that his doctor might come up against the Master in an interview with Sky News. Russell T Davies added, or Missy, the Master can be female as well. I like the Missy incarnation, but if he does change the character's gender again, a surprise reveal wouldn't be quite as impactful as Mrs. Twist in Dark Water. Well, it was very impactful as at that time, Time Lords couldn't gender swap, right? It was a new idea. That's why Capaldi's doctor didn't recognize him, right? Another possibility is we could see Dhawan appearing one more time, but unrecognizable in a body. Will you stop writing your fan fiction? Better, though it is, than Chris Chibnall's official script. Will you stop writing your fan fiction and grafting it onto Chibnall's piece of shit to make it somehow watchable? But unrecognizable with the body of a degenerative state similar to the reintroduction in a Deadly Assassin. I don't see them ever going for horror of that level again, right? I think that's unlikely. The classic Master, an entire adventure centered on a desperate quest to find a new body. The classic Master story. We won't always need the Master's regeneration, but to see the Master's regeneration. But his next encounter with the Doctor could very well end up with the reveal of Missy too. I wouldn't be sad to see her come back. I think she was great. Will Rusty Davies bring back any characters in the Chibnall era? No. It's over. It's over, Johnny. It's over. It's over. It's over. Forget it. It's gone. Joe Martin is not an asset. I guess Graham sort of was. Bradley Walsh was, but no. No, the baggage they bring with it is too much, right? The Master was peripheral enough that they could bring over nothing else, nothing endemic to this era is going to be carried over, in my opinion, right? In my opinion. Aside from Sacha Dhawan's Master, there are other characters and villains from Chibnall's run that the Russell Davies might bring back. It's fair to say there are no obvious contenders when it comes to the Doctor's enemies, unlike Davies's Ood and Moffat's Weeping Angel. Yeah, or you're going to bring back Tim Shaw. Please, piss off. None of them are memorable enough to warrant a revisit. That's not to say Davies couldn't find a new angle for the more obscure villains. This is, after all, the showrunner that brought back the Macra. I wish the Macra had a more central point to Gridlock. I love Gridlock. One of my favourite Rusty Davies stories. I really love Gridlock, but I wish the Macra had more of a central part to the plot. Right, because they were. If you've seen or listened to what's it called again? Macroterra, is it Macroterra? Whatever it is, the Troughton story. You saw the Macra are intelligent and using like gases to control and planet and mine and all that sort of stuff going on. They could have been doing the same thing and they just got devolved somehow, right? They could have been the how this whole thing started. But, you know, again, like this person, I'm putting my fan fiction, but at least I'm putting my fan fiction on good fiction rather than unwatchable crap like Trish Chibnall stuff. The Pating, for instance, is almost certainly a Tyvanian one can imagine Russell having some fun with. No, the Pating was awful. Right, absolutely awful. Right, I'll never see it again. You can probably rule out the return of the ethereal beings like the Ooks, the Ravagers, and Time. The Ravagers were quite good. I thought that was a good villain. Right, not that they made any sense, and you do not want to call back to this era, which is unwatchably bad. Right, unwatchably bad. And damaging to the franchise. I mean, there's a reason that they shelved the Batgirl movie, because it was damaging to the franchise, right? Not everything is helpful. And what are the divisions of the Doctor's Forgotten Past? The Fob Watch is, after all, it's still inside the TARDIS waiting to be opened. It's never coming back. Davies has the freedom to ignore it completely, yes, without breaking continuity. It's gone. It's never coming back, mate. Unless, you have some talented writer who wants to redeem this era in like 2035, right? I don't see it coming back in in the near future. Hopefully not in my lifetime, right? That's what I would like to hear. The Doctor has now a choice for a longer self-identity as a... the Doctor has now the choice to no longer self-identify as a Time Lord, allowing for a soft reboot if David chooses. No! Look at the logo. He's going hardcore, old school Doctor Who, right? Full frontal, hardcore Doctor Who, darling. Chibnall's most memorable character has to be Jo Martin's future Doctor, making her prime candidate return. No. She's simply too good to ignore. Bye. We're ignoring it. Whether as an occasional hologram giving advice and assistance to the new Doctor. No. Or a future multi-Doctor special. No. Go away. Vindra is another character who can't be forgotten. I've forgotten already. Chris Chibnall forgot him. We've all forgotten him. He can be forgotten. He will be forgotten. He has been forgotten. Who's Vindra? Oh, the bloke from Game of Thrones. We've forgotten him. Why was he in the episode? Nobody knows. He just forgot, right? Apparently he was looking for the little black girl turned into the giant glowy hairball thing. The Uruks, or whatever it's called. Even if he may have originally been written to replace Captain Jack due to John Barrowman's unavailability, he was completely available due to John Barrowman being completely unjustly cancelled, right? The fact is he is ready to help the Doctor as and when they would need him to make straight. He was pretty good, I have to tell you. I thought Jacob Anderson was it was a fun character to have in there. I don't think we're ever seeing again. It'd be strange if he just disappeared. It's going to be strange. He's gone. There's no reason to assume we will never see him and Belle again. Yes, there is a reason to assume we're never going to see him and Belle again, because this era was a complete, utter, dire failure in every way, shape, and form. So much of a failure that David Tennant had to come back. Russell D. Davies had to come back, and Doctor Who had to evolve into something, I think, going to be very, very different moving forward. Hopefully something very, very good, right? But it was a complete and total failure. It's not coming back. Get over it. You liked crap. You like crap because you live on tribal grounds, right? You live your life on these tribal rules where if you didn't like the Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who, then you wanted to vote for Donald Trump because you hate black people, right? That's the weird connections that are messed up in your head, right? It was crap. We are never seeing it again. And hurrah for that. Boy, this was an hour video, nearly an hour video. I had another review to go over. I guess I'm not going to get to it. At all. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.